Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already done so, please move to your seats and remain standing for the arrival of the official party, followed by the singing of our national anthem by Master Sergeant Laura Mertzia and the invocation by Chaplain Deborah Huey.
Colors, sir. Hurch.
Thank you, Master Sergeant Mertzia. Chaplain Huey, will you please come forward and give the invocation?
Let us pray. Tonight we come to celebrate the graduates of Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam Airman Leadership School. We thank you, Lord, that they have been equipped with the knowledge of administration, public speaking, and top-notch managerial skills. Empower our graduates, O God, to use these tools to be leaders after your own heart, one that serve and build up rather than tear down. We also ask that you would bless the instructors for pouring wisdom into the graduates and molding them into the non-commissioned officers we see before us today. We thank you, Lord, for the families of our graduates, for without their love and support, this day would never be. Finally, we pray that you will bless the food for the nourishment and strengthening of our bodies. Now, O Lord, we will end this prayer in silence, in respect to our own faith traditions and to honor those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. God bless you.
Thank you, Chaplain Hikuli. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you quietly be seated.
You see before you an empty table, set for service but vacant. This table is symbolic of our fallen comrades in arms and those whose fate is still unknown. It is set with 4 chairs, one each for the members of the Army, Marine Corps, Navy, and Air Force. The table is round, symbolizing our everlasting concern for those still missing.
Remember.
The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their intentions in responding to their country's call to arms.
Remember.
The single rose displayed in a vase reminds us of the families and loved ones of our comrades in arms who keep the faith awaiting their return.
Remember.
The red ribbon tied so prominently on the vase is reminiscent of the red ribbon worn on the lapel and breasts of thousands, bearing witness to their unyielding demand for a proper accounting of our missing.
Remember.
A slice of lemon is on the bread plate, symbolic of their bitter fate.
Remember.
There is salt upon the bread plate, symbolic of the family's tears as they wait.
Remember.
The glass is inverted, for they cannot toast with us this night.
Remember.
The chairs are empty. They are not here.
Remember.
Remember, all of you served with them and called them comrades, who depended upon their might and aid and relied upon them, for surely they have not forsaken you. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand and charge your glasses with water for this toast? A silent toast to our prisoners of war and those missing in action, until every story is complete, lest we forget. Please be seated.
Good evening. I am Master Sergeant Mary Polanco.
And I am Technical Sergeant John Robertson. We will be your Masters of Ceremony for the evening. On behalf of the Commander, 15th Wing, Colonel Johnny Roscoe, welcome to the graduation banquet for Airman Leadership School Class 13 Delta.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow us to introduce our distinguished guests.
Our guest speaker for the evening, the Vice Commander, Pacific Air Forces, Lieutenant General Ted Kresge and his wife, Lori.
The Command Chief, 15th Wing, Chief Master Sergeant Les Bramlett.
The Commandant, Benneker PME Center, Chief Master Sergeant Sarah Sparks and her husband, Senior Master Sergeant Sam Sparks.
The Commander, 515th Air Mobility Operations Wing, Colonel Kevin Lambert.
The Command Chief, 515th Air Mobility Operations Wing, Chief Master Sergeant Sam Alkery.
And our host for this evening, the Commander, 15th Wing, Colonel Johnny Roscoe and his wife, Jennifer. At this time, we would also like to recognize all PACAF leaders, directors, group commanders, squadron commanders, chief master sergeants, first sergeants, supervisors, family members, and friends who have extended their support throughout the course.
Additionally, we would like to recognize those individuals representing the organizations that sponsor the Benneker PME Center Awards Program. We are truly grateful for their continued support.
Representing the Hawaii Air Force Association, Chapter 138, which sponsors the Academic Achievement Award, Mr. John Martin.
Representing the Hawaii Top 3 Association, which sponsors the Commandant Award, Master Sergeant Alfred Wells.
Representing the Air Force Chiefs Group of Hawaii, which sponsors the Distinguished Graduate Awards, Chief Master Sergeant Charles Orff.
Representing the Air Force Sergeants Association, Chapter 1550, which sponsors the John L. Levitou Award, Senior Master Sergeant Guadalupe Ruiz.
And finally, our graduating class, Airman Leadership School Class 13 Delta. Please stand.
The Airman's Creed is intended to enhance our warrior ethos and to remind us of our responsibilities to country and colleague. It is a tangible statement of beliefs. As you recite it tonight, what does it mean to you? Have you gained a renewed appreciation of our culture, character, and spirit? Class 13 Delta, would you please lead us in the Airman's Creed?
Aim high! Fly high, aim high! Fly
my pleasure to introduce tonight's guest speaker, Lieutenant General Ted Kresge. General Kresge is the Vice Commander, Pacific Air Forces, Joint Base Pearl Harbor, Hickam, Hawaii, and the Deputy Theater Joint Force Air Component Command to the Commander, U.S. Pacific Command. PACAF is responsible for Air Force activities spread over half the globe, with over 45,000 airmen serving principally in Japan, Korea, Hawaii, Alaska, and Guam. General Kresge was commissioned in 1980 after graduating from the U.S. Air Force Academy. He is a command pilot with more than 4,200 flying hours and has commanded at the squadron, group, wing, and numbered Air Force levels. For General Kresge's complete bio, please refer to your programs. Ladies and gentlemen, General Kresge.
I'm going to tell you all a story. Before I tell you the story, I'm going to tell you why I think this story is important, at least it's important to me. Right now we're going through some interesting times in the Air Force. Interesting being a euphemism for not good. If you remember back about a year ago, we had the 13 budget, and it was a windfall. It was tight. But that was the good old days. If you thought that was bad, then wait till sequestration hit in the springtime. And if you thought sequestration was bad, then wait till government shutdown happened. And then who knows what's going to happen next? Probably some, low-ball budget with then subtract sequestration. And then all of that is probably the good old days compared to what the 15 budget is going to look like. And while all of this is going on, we were talking about real cuts. And while all this is going on, there is serious planning for less people, less force structure, less airplanes, reorganizing the Air Force fundamentally. There's a lot going on. Now, for any of you, frankly, that are watching this, my advice to you is, with detached interest, because to be honest with you, it's all going to happen. And when it's all said and done, everything's going to be fine. The sun's going to come up the next morning. Life will go on. The problem I have is that because in my current job, I get to go to the VTCs, I get to go to the meetings, every now and then TY back to DC, and get to watch these deliberations about how we're going to do all this. And to be honest with you, it gets a little frustrating and gets a little depressing from time to time. Personal problem. But you know what? I find that when I start getting depressed about the state of the United States Air Force, I remember this story. And when I remember this story, everything's fine. My faith is renewed, all better. So frankly, since we are about to have a new generation of young staff sergeants, young NCOs, who in addition to their new rank, new responsibility, pay bump, are going to have to start carrying the burden of this evolution of the Air Force on their shoulders. So I figured, I offer you the story so that if you ever need your faith renewed, maybe this will help. Okay. So the title of the story is Why I Love the United States Air Force, with apologies to our Aussie brother graduating tonight. It's actually 3 short stories, but I emphasize short, so don't panic. Story number 1 actually began over 150 years ago. Little town of Fredericksburg, Virginia, when 40,000 U.S. combat troops attacked a fortified position just outside the town, defended by the Army of Northern Virginia, commanded by Robert E. Lee, Civil War. They were repulsed with horrific, horrible losses. Kind of makes you wonder in this day and age, where they found the courage to do what they did year after year. Okay, 140 years later, 40,000 U.S. combat troops invaded the nation of Iraq, a nation about the size of California with 1 million men under arms, and within 2 weeks were driving around the capital with very low losses. Now the question is, what is the difference between those 2 events? One word answer? air power. If you ever wondered, about the great battle, the great land battle with the Republican Guards armored formations, the vaunted Republican Guards armored formations, it never occurred. And in the words of the Air Component Commander at the time, who became Chief of Staff of the Air Force, General Buzz Mosley, quote, "We blow them up." Okay, short story number 2. Now, short story number 2 is about a fairly trivial, insignificant event. But the fact that it's an insignificant event is what makes it significant to the story. Okay, so it is January the 2nd, 1998, a place called Morón, Spain. And if you've never been to Morón, Spain, you haven't missed a thing. We're on our way back from one of those endless Southern Watch rotations at the halfway point, getting ready to take off and head home. So we're getting ready to brief the next movement. And I walk out onto the flight line just before the briefing, and there are 18 F-15s, pretty airplanes, but these weren't looking all that good because they're covered with 4.5 months of Saudi dirt and grime and dust. There are 9 tankers, and the drill is 3 tankers are going to take off with each group of F-15s, and the tankers are all going to give each other gas, and then one tanker is going to go the rest of the way back to the States. So 9 tankers, and there is an airlifter. And the airlifter's job is to, when the maintainers are done launching all these jets, they're going to scramble on the airlifter and follow us on home. Okay, so here we are on a Sunday, 2nd of January, in the middle of nowhere, Spain. This air armada is going to launch and cross the North Atlantic in the middle of winter. The senior ranking guy involved in the whole thing is some lowly peon lieutenant colonel, happened to be me. No big deal, right? We are an Air Force that every single day does what no other Air Force on the planet could dream of doing on its best day. And we are so good at what we do, we take it for granted. Short story number 3. I'm a wing commander, England Air Force Base. We're having one of those operational readiness inspection. Higher headquarters comes in to do the inspection. 15 points about to undergo the same thing. It's called a phase 1, which means the drill is you're going to gin up to deploy to war. So it's kind of broken up into 2 phases. The first part is you prep the airplanes and stuff and people. So when you're done with that, we had about 30 F-15s loaded for bear, wall-to-wall missiles, fuel tanks, all set to go. And then when you're done with that, before you actually launch the airplanes, there's this gap. And during the gap, the higher headquarters inspection team literally, jet by jet, does a full-blown inspection of each airplane. And if they find something wrong with the airplane, they'll flunk it. And if you flunk a couple of airplanes too many, you'll bust the entire exercise. So this is a high-stress moment in this inspection. Okay, so I can't take it. I'm going to wander out there to watch what's going on. And what I see is, coming, is a herd of senior NCOs. And these are the inspectors, pros from Dover. Stripes down in here, dark sunglasses, frowny faces, clipboards, and they wonder why we hate them. Right behind the inspectors are the senior NCOs from the wing. Stripes down to here, visibly unhappy that these guys are poking around in their business. Okay, so this herd of chief master sergeants is going from jet to jet, bickering, arguing with each other, poking around the airplanes. And I look over, and not the next jet, but the jet after that, in the queue to get inspected, here it is, a young three-striper. Everybody called him Bigfoot, because he's a great, big, lovable guy. Well, Bigfoot is standing by his airplane, and he's got a rag in his hand, and here's what he's doing. He goes to the nose of the airplane with his rag, and he wipes a spot. And then he goes over to where the missiles are loaded, and he jiggles a little clip. And then he goes over to the tool chest and opens a drawer to check the tools and closes the drawer. And then he goes back with his rag and rubs the exact same spot he rubbed before. And then he goes and jiggles the same clip he jiggled before, and he opens the same drawer. And this is going around there, it's doing laps. And and I'm grinning from ear to ear. It's 250 pounds of pure nervous energy. So I'm watching this, and I ask myself the question, why does he care so much? We pay him nothing. The hours that he's working, the hours that he's been working to prepare for this exercise, and the actual exercise, it's got to be less than minimum wage. He's living in a dorm that was built in the 1950s, and we hold him to a set of professional performance and disciplinary standards that people outside of our world would not understand and would consider draconian. But there he is. Well, it took me about 10 seconds to come up with the answer. The pride and professionalism of the American Airman. Just so you know the rest of the story, the squad of Chief Master Sergeants got past Bigfoot's jet, past the flying colors, and then we go to launch, and his jet ground boards with a major fuel leak, with the fuel line. Not his fault. Nothing he could have done about it. There was gas spraying everywhere. He felt almost in tears that his airplane grounded boarded during this readiness inspection. So I went to the ORI and said, make sure he gets one of those Superior Performer Awards, which he did, so all was better. Anyway, good news story. Okay, so there you have it. We are an institution that has fundamentally changed the nature of warfare forever. We are an Air Force that every single day does what no other Air Force in the history of the planet could have ever dreamed about doing on its best day, and we're so good, we take ourselves for granted. And finally, it's all because of the magical, wonderful, priceless American Airman. So, that is why I love the United States Air Force. That is why I am positive that our best days are ahead of us. And that is why I get up every morning and thank God that I'm part of it and one of you. So to our new staff sergeants, God bless you, congratulations, keep the faith.
General Christie, on behalf of Class 13 Delta, we would like to thank you for taking your time to celebrate our accomplishment this evening. As a token of our appreciation, we have made a contribution in the amount of $672 to the Fisher House in your name.
Thank you, General Preston. The PME Awards program recognizes those individuals who have excelled while attending the course. Input for awards is gathered from 4 sources: objective tests and performance, peer, and faculty evaluations. At this time, we would like to announce the award recipients for the Airman Leadership School Class 13 Delta.
The first award to be presented this evening is the Academic Achievement Award. General Kresge and Mr. Martin, will you please come forward to present this award? The Academic Achievement Award denotes excellence as a scholar and is based solely upon written tests and communication evaluation scores.
AKA Smarty Pants.
The recipient of the Academic Achievement Award for Class 13 Delta from the 324th Intelligence Squadron, Senior Airman Nicole Casanova.
Master Sergeant Sparks and Master Sergeant Wells, will you please come forward and present this award? The Commandant Award is presented to the student who exhibited exemplary leadership, followership, and who made the most significant contribution to the overall success of the class. The nominees were selected based on peer evaluations, and each of them met a face-to-face board of senior NCOs to determine the recipient.
How many senior NCOs?
A lot.
One is enough.
Each nominee, please stand to be recognized as I read your name. The Commandant Award nominees for Class 13 Delta are representing Century Flight from the 647 Security Forces Squad. Representing Warrior Flight from the 324th Intelligence Squadron, Senior Airman Zach Enyard. And representing Guardian Flight from the 692nd Intelligence, Surveillance, and Reconnaissance Group, Staff Sergeant Paul Baker. Nominees, you may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the recipient of the Commandant Award for Class 13 Delta from the 324th Intelligence Squad.
Thank you, Chief Sparks and Sergeant Wells. The next award is the Distinguished Graduate Award. Chief Master Sergeant Bramlett and Chief Master Sergeant Orff, would you please come forward to present the awards? The Distinguished Graduate Awards are presented to the students who have excelled in academic performance, leadership, and have graduated in the top 10% of the class.
That's 5 people for those of you trying to do the math.
The distinguished graduates for Class 13 Delta from the 324th Intelligence Squadron, Senior Airman Nicole Casanuevo. From the 324th Intelligence Squadron, Senior Airman Zach Enyard. From the 647 Civil Engineer Squadron, Senior Airman Giselle Compton. From the 692nd Intelligence, Surveillance, and Reconnaissance Group, Staff Sergeant Paul Baker. And from the 324th Intelligence Squadron, Senior Airman Michael Watson.
final award to be presented tonight is the John L. Levitt Award. Will Colonel Roscoe and Senior Master Sergeant Ruiz please come forward to present this award? This award is named after the Medal of Honor recipient for his heroic acts during Vietnam and is the highest form of recognition bestowed to a graduate of enlisted professional military education. It denotes excellence as both a leader and a scholar and is awarded to the most distinguished graduate in the class.
Or the top dog.
Ladies and gentlemen, the recipient of the John L. Levitt Award for Class 13 Delta is, from the 324th Intelligence Squadron, Staff Sergeant Stephen Lowe. Thank you, Colonel Roscoe and Sergeant Ruiz. Staff Sergeant Lowe, voting is yours.
Just very quickly, I'd like to say that it's been a tough and stressful few weeks, but we got through it as a class, and I wouldn't be up here without the rest of you guys.
Over the last 6 weeks, these 55 individuals had the pleasure of learning what teamwork was all about. Throughout the course, we challenged them to come together in their flights to compete for the Team Swag Award.
Century Warrior Avenger Guardian. See what we did?
So, winners, make your way. Thank you. Weekly, we gave them a variety of tasks to complete, to include mental, physical, and spirit challenges. Century Flight started off the first week, but then Guardians came back strong in week 2. Century battled back to take week 3, and then out of nowhere, the Avengers swooped in to win week 4. But in the end, the flight who won overall was Century Flight. So great job to everybody. Good job. Congratulations, Century Flight. Chief, don't steal my thunder.
They got the wind on their side.
Today, 16 October 2013, each student of Class 13 Delta has successfully met the challenging requirements presented within the Airman Leadership School and have earned 10 semester hours of credit from the Community College of the Air Force. Tonight, they are awarded the greatest recognition a student can receive, the Airman Leadership Diploma. Class 13 Delta, please rise and prepare to receive your diploma.
Speaking of volleyball, as we all know, it is tradition for our ALS class to play the Chiefs in shirts in a volleyball challenge. Wow, what an event. The first couple games, it seemed as if history would continue to repeat itself, with the Chiefs consistently coming out on top. But then, something changed. These ALS students banded together to claim victory as their own. They started communicating better, spilling their heart and soul out there on the court. We could see the look of pure determination on their faces. After playing 12 games, it was announced a tie. But Class 13 Delta did not want to accept their fate, ignoring that they were the first team ever to tie with the Chiefs and the Shirts. So they challenged them yet again. Did they do it? Did Class 13 Delta make their own history? Is all this anticipation for nothing? Unfortunately, they did not walk away victorious. And once again, our Chiefs and Shirts have proven that consistent communication, experience, and teamwork will forever reign. So thank you, Chiefs and Shirts. for your constant support of our ALS class.
Class 13 Delta put a lot of efforts into their fundraising committee as well. In addition to the money donated to the Fisher House, they also donated $672 to the St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. To provide every opportunity for growth and mentorship, we've incorporated a class mentor concept. The class had 4 senior NCOs who were invited to provide their perspective during several lessons, as well as participate in PT sessions. The class felt that it was invaluable and truly enhanced their time at Airman Leadership School. We would like to thank the following individuals for your support and guidance throughout the class. From Headquarters PACAF A3, Senior Master Sergeant Timothy Achasa. From the 692nd ISRG, Master Sergeant Karen Brady. From the 561st NOS, Master Sergeant Timothy Leviston. And from Headquarters PACAF A4, Master Sergeant Armando Chavez.
The time has come to present the diplomas, Colonel Roscoe and Chief Sparks. Will you please come forward?
Good evening. I'm Technical Sergeant Leanne Bledsoe, Century Flight Instructor. I present to you Century Flight, the flight that made Rick Rowland and Oompa Loompas cool again, even though they couldn't help Nicolas Cage be cool ever.
Century Flight!
Beginning with our class commander and our first ever Australian student from the Royal Australian Air Force, Corporal Jason Cox. Our Century Flight Leader from the 25th Air Support Operations Squadron, Staff Sergeant Michael McPhee.
Finger on deck.
From Detachment 2, from the 18th 4th Support Squadron, Senior Airman Christian V. Anderson II. From the 735th Air Mobility Squadron, Senior Airman Matthew Apodaca. From the 735th Air Mobility Squadron, Senior Airman Brandon Arlen. From the 647th 4th Support Squadron, Senior Airman Christiana Arlen. From the 324th Intelligence Squadron, Senior Airman Nicole Casanova. From the 8th Intelligence Squadron, Senior Airman Adam Castillo. From the 324th Intelligence Squadron, Senior Airman Nathan Fanis. the 15th Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Gregory A. Hart, Jr. From the 324th Intelligence Squadron, Senior Rebecca Lee. From the 647th Security Forces Squadron, Senior Nathan Ma'u. From the 647th Civil Engineer Squadron, Senior Jason W. Reed. From the 8th Intelligence Squadron, Senior Christopher Stone.
Good evening. I'm Technical Sergeant Richard Martinez, the Warrior Flight Instructor. I will say, Warrior Flights, now that you're done with all your homework, I now task you with YouTubing Celebrity Jeopardy.
Warriors, this is Sparta!
Beginning with our Warrior Flight leader, from the 15th Medical Support Squadron, Senior Airman Michael C. Gonzalez, Jr. From the 647th Logistics Readiness Squadron, Senior Airman Scott Allen. From the 15th Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Dennis Bass. From the 647th Civil Engineer Squadron, Senior Airman Giselle Compton. From the 324th Intelligence Squadron, Senior Airman Zach Enyart. From the 324th Intelligence Squadron, Senior Airman Stephen Matson. From the 15th Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Adam Moody. From the 735th Air Mobility Squadron, Senior Airman Caleb Nolan. From Detachment 3, 690th Network Support Squadron, Senior Airman Kenneth Oliver. From the 324th Intelligence Squadron, Senior Airman Kenneth Scarpa. From Detachment 1, 561st Network Operations Squadron, Senior Airman Kenneth Shelton.
Warrior!
Celebration Squadron, Senior Airman Daniel Swenson. From the 15th Aerospace Medicine Squadron, Senior Airman Dara Williams. From 647 Security Forces Squadron, Senior Airman Andrew Wilson.
Good evening, I'm Technical Sergeant John Robertson, Avenger Flight Instructor. If there's anything to be said about Avenger Flight, it's that they were very original.
Avengers! Ice, ice, baby!
Stop. Beginning with our Avenger Flight Leader, from the 324th Intelligence Squadron, Staff Sergeant Stephen Lowe. From the 324th Intelligence Squadron, Senior Airman John Bala. From the 647th Civil Engineer Squadron, Senior Airman Nicholas Brandenburg. From the 15th Aerospace Medicine Squadron, Senior Airman Ashley Dean. From the 324th Intelligence Squadron, Senior Airman Isaiah Gooley. From the 17th Operations Weather Squadron, Senior Airman Sean Ives. From the 392nd Intelligence Squadron, Senior Airman George Jenkins. From the 15th Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Brian Convalin. From the 735th Air Mobility Squadron, Senior Airman Dean Mansfield Jr. From the 324th Intelligence Squadron, Senior Airman Justin Matthews. From the 15th Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Scott St. Romain. From the 647th Security Forces Squadron, Senior Airman Keziah Tim. From the Defense Intelligence Agency, Senior Airman Ronnie Turner.
Good evening, I'm Master Sergeant Mary Polanco, Guardian Flight Instructor. Guardian! Thank you, Guardians, for all the Zen-like qualities you brought to class every day. You truly are my favorite guardian flight of 13 Delta. Beginning with our guardian flight leader, from the 692nd Intelligence, Surveillance, and Reconnaissance Group, Staff Sergeant Paul Baker. From the 624th Regional Support Group, Senior Airman Mashwell Bakris. From the Joint Intelligence Operations Center, Senior Airman Clarissa Dial. From the 747th Communications Squadron, Senior Airman Evan Hall. From the 647th Security Forces Squadron, Senior Airman Jeremy Hedrick. From the 324th Intelligence Squadron, Senior Airman Jeremy Jackson. From the 15th Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Derek Johnson. From the 647th Civil Engineer Squadron, Senior Airman Jeremy Johnson. From the Defense Intelligence Agency, Senior Airman Jamar Meadows. From the 324th Intelligence Squadron, Senior Airman Justin Nance. From the Joint Intelligence Operations Center, Senior Airman Bethany Ninus Garish. From the 735th Air Mobility Squadron, Senior Airman Ashley Robinson. From the 25th Air Support Operations Squadron, Senior Airman Brian Walters. From the 324th Intelligence Squadron, Senior Airman Michael Watson. Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you ALS Class 13 Delta.
Thank you. Members of Class 13 Delta, please remain standing.
High five.
After tonight, you are authorized to wear your PV ribbon as a visible indication of your experience here at Airman Leadership School. Under the authority granted me by Air Force Instruction 36-2301 as Commandant of the Airman Leadership School, I proclaim you, finally, graduates. Congratulations. General, sir, thank you so much for taking time to be with us this night. Ma'am, thank you. It was a pleasure visiting with you this evening. Colonel Roscoe, Chief Brownlet, thank you so much for the continued support you give our institution. Class 13 Delta, you've been through some challenges. We started on a high, Chief Gaylor, on our very first day of training, and you've been through some challenges with everything going on the outside of our Air Force, obviously, and some internal challenges, and you've overcome them, and you've graduated tonight, so congratulations. You have well-deserved. Hopefully you've enjoyed your evening. Colonel Roscoe, if you would provide our closing comments this evening. Thank you. You may be seated, class.
All right. I just want everybody to know that our individual will pass out back, which is fun. She's the 15th medic, right? God bless her, and she's going to be okay. Our medics rushed to her care, and they're taking care of her. I won't be calling Jeff James about some faulty stuff that she tripped over there. So it'll be all right. I was going to blame him anyway. Wilson.
What do you say?
John Crespo, thank you so much for being here tonight. Jennifer, thank you for attending the ceremony with me, Chief Brown. Sandra, thank you. Sarah, thank you, and the rest of what I think is the most professional, the best PME staff in the United States Air Force. So please a round of applause for Chief Opry, thank you both for coming here. And to all commanders, chiefs, supervisors, first sergeants, squadron members, friends, everybody who supports every single airman that was in this class, thank you for being here tonight. I really appreciate it. I'd like to give a special round of applause if you would all join me in a loud round of applause for our family members in attendance tonight, please. General Kresge, your words tonight were great. That was a great speech. And I love the stories, and I'm going to get back to them just a little bit. I don't have a lot to say, but I do want to say a couple things real quick. You know, tonight when I was getting ready, busy day, and I go home, and I start reaching for my mess dress, and I say to Jen, I say, hey, you know what? Remember I shared with the class, remember I told you guys that I was honest with, I have shortcomings, and Jen has the long list of what those are. My point was be honest and know yourself and know what your limitations are. One of those things is that I don't keep up with my stuff very well. So sunglasses, I'm not allowed to buy expensive sunglasses, so no Ray-Bans or anything like that, because they usually have a life expectancy of about a month or so. Keys, car keys, and I said, hey, you know what? With my propensity to lose things, I've been very, very lucky that I've never had a mess dress emergency. I haven't found my board, missed my boards or anything. She goes, great, you just jinxed it. How much longer we have left? Probably not long. But when she said that, I thought about it for a moment, and it kind of hit me, and it was like, wow, we don't have a lot of these left. My time left here as a wing commander very short, and I asked how many are left. So we've got 2 ALSs, 2 NCOA Academy graduations that I'll have the honor of hosting as a wing commander and coming up here and speaking to you all. And it really hit me because as I shared with all of you, where I find balance not only with my own personal family, but my extended family, my Air Force family, is spending as much time with you is very important to me. And and when I reach for my mess dress or another uniform to go, I look forward to these things. You would think after a long day that I'm not really excited about coming to something like this, but I get remotivated. When I came and spoke to you guys the other day, I genuinely, honestly get excited to spend time with you. So I want to ask you all a favor, please. If every member in the ALS Class 13 Delta could please stand up, just for one moment. I just want to salute every single one of you. You can sit down. I just want to say I was the guy who stood here because Kresge tonight talked about history, and it was very interesting because I love trying to relate a moment that happens at any venue I get to our history, and I love that he talked about air power and Civil War and some defining moments in his own personal life that define him as an airman and why he loves the Air Force and what's important. And we talked a little bit about that yesterday. But what you did for me just right there was help me to find yet another moment in my life that I will cherish. That I can stand up here and say I had the honor of standing here with our newest, soon-to-be, staff sergeants in the Air Force. Because I meant what I said yesterday. I'm so very, very proud of every single one of you. And while I decide to write my history throughout my career, it's those moments that define us, that we come back to, that make us love the United States Air Force. So what I'm asking you all to do, if you could, when you leave here tonight, think about what your experience is through this ALS class, and how you're going to let them define who you are. And how will you, throughout the rest of your career, the rest of your life, let it define who you are. And I know, and if you go back to what General Kresge said, there will be a moment in time where what you learned here tonight and what you learn from those that you work with every single day and that you will soon supervise and lead, and those that you work for, you will come back to it. And there will be a moment in time where you're standing there thinking about how much you love the United States Air Force. And whether you can draw a direct correlation to what you learned through this class or not, trust me, it's there. And I appreciate the work and the effort and everything you did, and the sweat and the tears and the work that you did to get here. It's amazing. So, I'm not going to go on, but I want to let you guys know that I'm extremely proud. I'm extremely honored. And really, I only have 4 more type situations like this where I'm going to be the guy standing up here having the honor to do this. So thank you for giving me that moment. And General Kresge, I'm with you. I love the United States Air Force, and it's people like you that bring me back to that every single day. So thank you all. Have a fantastic night.
Staff Sergeant Lowe, please come front and center, please. Close out this fantastic evening. Sergeant Lowe, lead us in our Air Force Team.
I'm on it. On it. On it. We go into the wild blue yonder.